Welcome back, YouTube, to another video. How is everyone doing today? It is day 3 on our week 9. Crazy that we've come this far. I feel like it's been such a little time, but you know, we have our off days where the days feel like they're dragging, and we have those days that just feel like they fly and you got no time. And you got to take each day as it is, as it comes, and just enjoy whatever comes your way, if that is the time that drags or the time that flies by. But it has been a crazy 9 weeks, and we have gotten stronger, in my opinion. I've pushed myself more in these past 9 weeks than I ever have in my life. Having a coach and just following a program has really made me accountable, and has pushed me past my mental barrier, pushed me past what I thought was my max for reps, pushed me past what I thought I could be doing in a week, pushed me past all of those mental barriers. And it has been crazy. I've been pretty consistent. I've done 4 training sessions a week, and sometimes more if I go to F45 and I train with my sister. But it's been crazy 9 weeks, and I've gotten a lot stronger. And yeah, so we are here now, day 3, week 9. We got our squats, we got our bench, and we'll see how heavy we'll be lifting. We got squats for singles, so we'll be moving up to, I believe, 212. I need to recheck on my program, but I think it's in the 200s for the kgs, obviously not the pounds, 200 pounds like my warm-up. But yeah, other than that, let's get warmed up, let's get ready for these squats, and let's see where we can go. Let's get do it. Okay, let's do it. session has been complete, and honestly, it went very well. The bar felt heavy in the back due to other reasons. Yes, the weight is heavy in a sense, but it just felt heavier than usual. It felt the same as on last week. I believe it was the same. Yeah. Um, so that's all right. I was kind of expecting that, but the weight moved a lot smoother. And just because it felt heavy, I was honestly surprised about how smooth the weight was moving. So I can't be too upset with that because everything felt nice and tight and everything was going up very smoothly. Um, my one rep max for today, the one rep was the 212.5, and honestly felt good. It wasn't sticky at all. It was moving very smoothly. But on my back offs, I felt a lot tighter, and I was like actually utilizing my quads and hamstrings, and I could feel them being activated. And I was just so happy with that. Was just how it felt in general. So, all in all, it went very, very well. I did want to talk about what I kind of touched based on yesterday. Yesterday, if you watched my other video, I posted it today, and it wasn't a lot of talking, but near the end, I got into how it's not easy for me to get up, come downstairs, and lift. It's not easy. Even though I do it on a daily basis and I'm consistent, it is still difficult. There's some days, obviously, that I wake up and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And there's other days where I wake up and I'm like, what if I just skip? But then there's the voice in the back of my head that says if I skip today, then how do I know that this lifting session won't make me the best? So I try and do it every day, and I've been very consistent for these past 2 months. With that being said, though, life in general is just like that. It's difficult. And there's always the easy route to take. The path is a lot larger, a lot wider. And then there's the harder path to take. And it's a very narrow path. And little room for error in a sense compared to the larger path where you might not be making that many mistakes, but only because you're taking that easier route. See, that wider path is crazy because you're walking down it, and at first it's huge, right? And you're like, oh, this is easy. I could do this any day, all day. And that is like laying in bed, watching TikTok, watching Netflix. It's easy. It's easy to ignore your problems. It's easy to push everything away and just say, you know what? I'm going to do the easy things. I'm going to eat like poo-poo and not care about how my body feels. I'm going to do what makes me happy in a sense, right? I'm going to do in that time makes me happy, even though I know later on it's not going to make me happy. And that's the thing about that wide path. It's so simple and so easy. But guess what happens? It narrows off. It narrows off until you're lost and you feel just so squeezed in and you feel like you want to escape this reality, but you can't. And that has happened with me with food. Let's say like I'm on this easy path with food where I just eat what I want because it's going to make me happy. And that's how I got, like, what was it, 3-4 years ago? I got to 250 pounds and I was not muscle. Like now I'm 240, and yeah, most of it is muscle. But before I was 250 and I was just bigger and fatter. And I would take that easy route, but it got hard and it got so difficult to the point where I would go to the Walmart and be buying 3 bags of chips a day. And sometimes I'd like add on some cookies or go to Tim's and get a 50-pack of Timbit and crush it in that same night. And it got so difficult where I disliked how I was living. I even hated it at some points. And I just wanted to stop, but I couldn't because I was so set in my ways. I was just constantly set in those ways. And I took that easy route because I thought it would make me happy until it narrowed off. And I felt like I could never escape. Until one day I said, let me choose that hard path for once. Let me stop eating like this. Let me go on to a strict diet where I cut my carbs and I increase my protein. Let me actually do cardio for once. Let me hop on a bike. Let me go on the Stairmaster and actually try. And that's where that narrow road started off like I felt like I couldn't do it. And then it widened and it widened and it got easier. And yeah, it doesn't widen as much as maybe the opening to that easy path, but it gets wider, it gets easier. And that's what I want to touch on is like life in general is hard. No matter what path you choose, it's going to end up being difficult. You either choose to start off difficult or you choose to end difficult. That easy path, you start off a breeze. But then you start to realize this isn't how I want to live. This is not making me happy anymore. But it's just so much more difficult at the end of that route to like transition over to that hard path. But if you choose that hard path from the start, you say, this is what I'm doing. I'm choosing this narrow path. It gets so much easier down the line. Maybe it's a year, maybe it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, maybe it's 2 months. But it will get easier. It always does. And you get to choose your heart in life. Life is difficult no matter what, but you get to choose what is difficult. You get to choose how you want to live your life. God has given you free will for that purpose. God has given you free will and a set of basic rules to follow because he wants to show you how to live the best life. So now it's your choice. Now he says, okay, I've given you the free will. I've given you the choice to do whatever you want. But here, I'm going to give you these set of rules just in case you feel lost. Just follow these rules and I bet you your life will get better, okay? And try to avoid these things, right? And that's it. That's all he did. And he said, boom, life. You figure it out, right? And before, life was simple. Like how I would like to imagine it when God first created this world was, yeah, it was a big plot of land. We got Adam, Eve, and a little bit of animals and plants. And that's it. You were to enjoy what he's given you. And then we got smarter. We ate that apple. We gained knowledge. And we got smarter and smarter and smarter and smarter. And now we are here in this complicated world, lost, confused, because there are so many options. There are so many different paths to choose. And there's just so much noise going on in this world. You got your parents, you got your siblings, you got your friends, you got your distant family, you got your spouses, your partners, you got the people on the internet. You have like everything is saying something different, and it's just so hard to like close your ears, stop listening, and listen to your heart and talk to God. It is so difficult nowadays. Before, there was no noise and you would just speak to God. That's how I would like to imagine it. It's like you were just there with God and your significant other, Adam and Eve, right? That's like what my heart desires, at least, is that slight isolation. I have my partner with maybe a couple kids on a big plot of land. I got my garden to look after. I got my kids to look after. And then I got God. And I don't know how we've steered so far apart from that like simplistic lifestyle. We have gone so complicated with this world, with the internet and with the cars and how we move so fast with like airplanes, and we cannot appreciate anything anymore because if I don't like something, well, too bad. I'm going to go on to the next thing. Like, there's no more like you're stuck. You can no longer be stuck because there's so many options. And that's a problem. It's funny because at F45, they implemented this workout, and you basically get to choose your own adventure. So there's half of the screen is upper, half the screen is lower. So you get to choose if you want to do upper body or lower body on that day. And I think it's too much choice for people, because you see people and they're constantly flip-flopping, going back and forth, and then they look at the screen and they're like trying to decide which one they want to do, and then they pick the one that's easier, and the one that they don't want to do is harder, so they don't want to do it. So they pick the easier one, and then it's like a mess because no one actually gets a proper workout in. Obviously, they're working out for that 45 minutes, but no one's getting a proper workout in. When you just throw exercise on the screen and you force them to do it, guess what? They do it, and they're so much more proud of themselves because they did it, and they shock themselves because they actually did it either heavier or better than they thought they would. And that's it. Like, choices, there's too many nowadays, and we need to stop with these choices, and we need to just say, this is it. This is what I'm choosing, and we follow that. I have this big problem of there's so many choices. What am I going to choose? How do I know which one's right? And guess what? I waste most of my life. These 20 years of my life, I feel like I've wasted them because I'm constantly trying to choose, and then I just don't choose, and I say, well, God will tell me. No, like, God will guide you, yes. And you need to put in the work, yes. But you need to, in the end, choose what you desire most. You can't just leave it up to God. Because, yeah, God will try and guide you, but you need to be silent and listen to your heart and what you truly desire, and that's what you need to do. Choices are good, but can be very bad, just like anything. And I feel like if we limit our choices, life gets a little bit easier and a little bit better. And that's all I have to say. Let's get into this bench session. I got my triples, and then so that's 3 sets of triples, 2 sets of back offs with 6s, and that'll be the end of that for today. So let's get it done. Let's get showered up, and then I have to go back to work. And then after work, I gotta go to the gym. And then after the gym, I gotta go to sleep, because after that, I wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow to go to work again. So that's always fun. Let's get this going. Let's get this ready. Yeah, let's do it. That is it for today. Whew. That last set on bench for my triples was a little bit iffy. I almost didn't think I was going to get it up, but you know what? I did it. And everything up until that point was very smooth, and my back offs felt really good. My triceps have been increasing in size, and I'm feeling it. Each time I bench, I can feel the tension. I just feel those triceps working, and I love it because my triceps have been like my downfall, I think. I've trained them, but I feel like they aren't big and they aren't like fully strong in a sense. I feel like I'm really forearm dominant. So when I do tricep exercises beforehand, like before this training program, my forearms would take over a lot instead of my triceps. But since I've started this program, I've really tried to isolate those triceps to make them stronger and get bigger. And I think it's working because I feel it. And I was flexing in the bathroom mirror, not gonna lie, but I can see it and it's really nice. So that's all I have to say. I had a good session. Today felt good, felt strong. And that was it for this week. I got my full day in the gym. I'll do it either tomorrow or on Saturday. But I think I'll do it tomorrow night, afternoon, when my little brother comes home. We'll go to the gym and then I'll go to mass at 7. But that is that. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you as always. I hope God blesses you. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week for some more videos. All right, peace.